Hello, my friends. Tony here. I want to say hello to you. Tonight, I want to kind of pick up where I left off the other night. The other night, I mentioned that I'd be starting with forgiveness or dealing with forgiveness tonight. The Lord really blessed us on Sunday. The whole day basically dealt with forgiveness. Sunday morning during Sunday school, we talked about dealing with difficult people and how we should respond to them, and even if we should respond. And then it carried on over into the main service, and where we basically dealt with forgiveness. So tonight, that's what I want to talk about. The subject I used for Sunday is God is ready to forgive. And I went to Psalm 86, verse 1 through 5, and I'm just going to read the 5th verse. I'll also read Psalm 130 and 4. Psalm 130 and 4, and also Psalm 86 and 5. Psalm 86 and 5 says, "For thou, Lord, art good and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee." And Psalm 130 and 4 says, "But there is forgiveness with thee, that thou mayest be feared." But there is forgiveness with thee, that thou mayest be feared. So we know that God is a forgiving God, a loving God, a merciful God, and it is His desire to forgive us. And so I was thinking about David when he sinned with Bathsheba. When it was brought to David's attention what he had done, David didn't try to deny his sin. He didn't try to get out of his sin. He said, "I acknowledge my transgression, and my sin is ever before me." Then David goes on to say, "Create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me." So David acknowledges his sin, and we have to understand that when we confess our sin, God, He is faithful and just and forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Now, that being said, let's look over here at Mark, the 11th chapter. Mark, the 11th chapter, and the 25th and 26th verse. And I don't have my glasses with me. So, Mark 11, 25 and 26. "And when ye stand praying, forgive, if ye have aught against any, that your Father also which is in heaven may forgive your trespasses. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father which is in heaven forgive your trespasses." So, going back to Psalm, it tells us that God is ready to forgive. And the 130th Psalm says, "There is forgiveness with thee." Again, acknowledging that God is a forgiving God. But then when we look at Mark, Mark lets us know, Jesus actually speaking, says that we must forgive others if we expect God to forgive us. So before we can even expect God to forgive us, we have to be willing to forgive others. And so that's what we want to deal with, forgiveness. And so let's look at unforgiveness first. When a person is unwilling to forgive, I believe if we look in the dictionary, it says something to the effect that unforgiveness is having a lack of compassion. Having a lack of compassion. So when we refuse to forgive someone, we are not showing compassion. Unforgiveness is a chain. It is something that binds the person who is unwilling to forgive to the event, to the situation, to the issue that caused the hurt, the pain, the distrust, all those things that causes these emotions to arise in us and cause us to hold grudges and not speak to people, even hate people, because something has been done to us. And then again, because of these emotions, because of these feelings, we refuse to forgive them. That unforgiveness keeps us tied to the event. But what is forgiveness? And again, I want to just point out that I have my notes here because I don't want to go too long, and I may have to break this into 2 parts, 2 videos. But forgiveness is a product of the healing process. Forgiveness is a product of the healing process where we let go of resentment, bitterness, judgment, and retribution, wanting to get back at somebody. There are a lot of people now who have experienced some kind of hurt, pain, betrayal, and they are refusing to forgive someone, and the longer they hold on to it, they become more and more bitter. And a bitter person is a miserable person to be around. And so it is a process that an individual has to go through. They have to, again, let go of bitterness. They have to let go of judgment. They have to let go of a desire to get back at someone who has hurt them. Forgiveness is also an internal process. It has nothing to do with the outside circumstances. Healing is an internal process, has nothing to do with the external process. What do I mean? During the Christmas season, Zeta would have me to go out into the garage and get the Christmas ornaments and all these things. And so she has 4 or 5 boxes in gold paper, gold bows, and all kind of decorations. And they look like something you might find in Macy's. Beautiful arrangement. And we put it under the tree. But there is nothing on the inside. It's dressed up on the outside, but there's nothing on the inside. And that's how, sometimes people are when they say, I forgive you. They said it, but the forgiveness is not on the inside. The actual remorse or that letting go is not on the inside. If it doesn't touch your heart, saying it with your mouth really has no real effect. And so the third thing is forgiveness is a sign of a positive self-esteem. Real forgiveness, is a sign of a positive self-esteem. What do we mean? I know, and you probably know of people who have been in abusive relationships, and because they've been in that abusive relationship, oftentimes they're withdrawn. You can almost see it on an individual, the way they carry themselves, their mannerisms. Sometimes very shy and timid, and that's not in all cases, but oftentimes because a person has been abused and they've been hurt, and their identity is tied to the hurt. Their identity is tied to the abuse. And even if they manage to get out of the abusive relationship, because they were in that abusive relationship for a period of time, it could carry over into the next relationship. And so again, their identity is tied to that situation. But when you really forgive somebody, you can let go of that again, bitterness. You can let go of that hurt. And I'm not saying this is going to happen overnight. I'm not saying that it isn't something that's going to take some time, but your identity should not be tied to that situation or that event, that issue. It is also letting go of intense emotions. There are people now who have been hurt, who have been wronged, and they are angry people. Their whole life has been changed and altered because of something that has been done to them, and they carry that thing with them, and they are constantly angry, upset. They will go off at the drop of a hat simply because they refuse to let go of something. Also, real forgiveness is no longer wanting to hurt the person that has hurt you. If you really forgive somebody, if you really let the thing go, whatever it is, you no longer want to get back at them. I said to the church the other day, when I first got saved, when somebody wronged me and I felt like I had been done wrong, I wanted God to get them. I'm serious. I really wanted God to get them. And I told the church I wanted the person to know why they got God. I wanted my face to appear before them whenever something happened to them, knowing that they had wronged me. And that's immaturity. That's the way I was. I wanted God to get them, and I wanted to get them good. But when you really let something go, when you really forgive a person, you don't have that desire to see them hurt. The next thing is accepting the fact that wanting to hurt them will never heal you. Wanting to hurt somebody that has hurt you will never heal you. You can live the rest of your life wanting to get back at somebody, and again, you're still tied to that event, you're still tied to that issue, but it won't ever heal you. You won't ever heal until you let go of it. There are people right now, quite possibly, that may even listen to this, who have been hurt, molested, raped, things like that. And those are some terrible things that I imagine, not easy to get over. But there are people right now that are being controlled by people who have been long since deceased. Maybe a family member raped, molested, physically abused, and that person has gone on waiting to face judgment. But the one that was abused, still here. and their whole life is still being controlled by a person that has been deceased or no longer in their life. And so I would pray that you would, if I'm talking to anybody out there, let go of that hurt, let go of that pain so you can live. Let it go so you can live. God is ready to forgive you. You've got to be willing to forgive somebody else, because you really won't know what love is. You really won't know what healing is until you let go of the issue. So thank you for taking the time. Check out the video. I wanted to kind of run through this, but pray that you got some value out of it. If you did, just share it with somebody. And if you know someone that is dealing with unforgiveness, that is not willing to forgive, I ask that you will encourage them to let whatever it is go, because again, you really can't experience love. You can't experience freedom until you let that person go. Thanks a lot for taking the time. Check out the video. Pray God's blessings on you. On tomorrow, maybe a couple of days from now, I'll be talking about dealing with difficult people. You all be blessed.